I'm putting my number on speed dial, honey. You call me if anything is wrong, okay?
Here's your lunch bag, sweetie. Want me to carry your bag to the classroom? I told them I'd be fine and skipped off happily. I guess it's normal for parents to cry on the first day of their kid's school, but when their kids are 5 years old, not 10 like me. You see, I was homeschooled till now because my parents are world-famous archaeologists, and I've just been traveling the world with them ever since. But then Dad got a permanent job position at a university, and they decided it was time to send me to school. When I walked into the classroom, I noticed a pretty girl with lots of kids around her, hanging on to every word she was saying. I walked up to them and said, "Hi, I'm Rebecca." Everyone just turned around and stared at me.
Say what? On which planet is anyone named Rebecca?
What? Were these girls stupid or something? Rebecca's a pretty common name. Just as I was about to reply, the teacher walked in and smiled warmly at me.
I see everyone's met the new student, Rebecca. She's only 10 years old, but she's here with us in 7th grade because she did remarkably well on her tests.
As I took my seat, I could see the mean girl shooting nasty glances my way. I had no idea what her problem was. Okay, class.
Can anyone name the chemical in leaves that makes them green?
I'd known this since I was 3. My hand shot up instantly. Leaves are green because of chlorophyll. Why was everyone staring at me again like I was speaking Swahili?
You mean chlorophyll, Rebecca.
Yes, ma'am, that's what I said. Chlorophyll. As some students burst out laughing, the teacher looked at me with a puzzled face and said she'd see me in the principal's office after class. Was I in trouble? My parents were called in, and the principal and my teacher sat them down to explain that I had a speech disorder.
Are you crazy? Our child is perfect. So what if she says some words wrong sometimes? She'll grow out of it.
I think it's adorable. The principal glared sternly at my parents and insisted that I had to be sent to a speech therapist. Turns out, my problem was easily fixable with practice, but I could just never live it down in school.
Go sit at the little girl's table, Rebecca. You guys can talk about your favorite stuffed toys. I bet yours is a wabbit.
That joke's getting pretty old. And don't worry, I don't want to be on the jerk's table anyway. I might become dumber listening to you talk. Thanks to the second smartest girl in class and reigning bully Julia, I never had much luck making friends. To be honest, I didn't care all that much. I didn't mind eating my lunch alone in the library, where I could read in peace. One day in the 8th grade, our math teacher came up to me in the library and dumped a pile of notebooks on the table.
Sweetie, I'm just swamped with work this week. Would you mind grading these?
I didn't mind at all. And before I knew it, she had me grading all the homework regularly. Soon enough, I had every teacher begging me to do their checking. I decided to start charging money for it, and they were more than happy to pay. I was making really good money for a 12-year-old. Of course, this didn't win me any popularity contests. Everyone thought I was a suck-up and a teacher's pet. If anyone ever came and talked to me, I knew it was only because they wanted me to do their work or give them a good grade. And that's how I ended up running a bit of an operation in middle school. I sold A+ essays and completed math exercises, for a fee of course. For a little while, I was like a homework mobster, slipping kids their papers in the hallways and peddling diagrams out of my locker. But eventually, the principal found out and shut it down. I almost got suspended, but all the teachers came running to his office and begged him to let me off with a warning this time. I smirked at Julia as I walked back into class. I'm sure she was praying I'd been expelled. But of course, I didn't really listen to the principal and still sold straight A's to students. One day in the 9th grade, I had left my laptop at the library for a few minutes, and when I returned, I noticed it was shut. I opened the lid to find the keyboard all sticky. Someone had poured juice all over it, and I know exactly who would do such a thing.
Oh no! What happened?
A kind voice came from over my shoulder, and when I turned around, I saw someone I didn't recognize.
I'm Miss Lee, the new math teacher. I might be able to help you with that.
Miss Lee showed me how to remove all of the keys, and we cleaned out the laptop. Since she was new, she didn't know who I was and genuinely just wanted to help. We couldn't fix the laptop, but from that day onwards, we kinda ended up being friends. We had so much in common and would often sit in the library discussing our favorite books during recess. In sophomore year, I joined Miss Lee's Mathletes team, thinking it would look great on my college applications. But unfortunately, Julia was also on the team. As I rattled off all the answers in the practice session, Julia turned to glare at me.
I guess you don't even need the rest of us, do you?
Well, somebody needs to pull the weight for the team. But we need you too, if we want unnecessary drama. Julia's face went beet red.
Just because you're a genius, you don't have to be a jerk.
Did I hurt your feelings? Do you need a napkin?
When did you get this tough?
The day I saw your ugly face. Girl, that's enough! Julia stomped out of the classroom and slammed the door shut. I apologized to Miss Lee and offered to take the stuff we needed for the competition to her car. No, there's no need for that. I'll manage. And she immediately snatched the stuff from me and started walking away quickly. Was she mad at me? Just then, she turned around in the doorway. You don't really know what's going on in people's lives, Rebecca. You can treat Julia with more kindness. Before I could protest, she was gone. A few days later, I had gone across town for a midnight release of one of my favorite books. When I came out of the shop, I spotted a familiar car across the street, in front of a park. It was Miss Lee's car, and it was just full of stuff, pressed up against the windows. It was already late, and I knew my parents would be worried if I wasn't home soon, but I felt curious, so I crossed the street and went into the park anyway. I hadn't walked too long when I found Miss Lee. She was curled up on a park bench under a tree, covered with a newspaper and fast asleep. Miss Lee! The words were out of my mouth before I could stop myself. I wanted to talk to her, but then I took a step back and left. Next day at school, I went to see her. You look tired, Miss Lee. Wasn't the bench comfortable enough? What are you talking about? Or was the newspaper, I mean your blanket, not warm enough? Miss Lee's eyes started to tear up. How do you know? Why didn't you just tell me? I thought we were friends. I look up to you and see you like an older sister. She couldn't speak for a couple of moments. Then her face crumpled and she burst into tears. It broke my heart to see her like this. I sat next to her and patted her on the back gently. Tonight, you're going to sleep in my room. Also, I brought you some food. No, Rebecca, I can't accept this. You didn't even ask me why I'm homeless. No need to ask this right away. A true friend helps their friends first and asks questions later. Maybe you should ask your parents first. I called my parents in front of her and told them everything. They went ballistic. Are you out of your mind? You think our house is a motel or something? They shouted so loud that Miss Lee was able to hear them, and she burst into tears. Don't mind them. You will be sleeping in my room, and you will use the window to sneak in and out. Even though I want to, I really can't turn down your offer. Sleeping on benches is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Today you will sleep in my room, and everything will be better tomorrow. I promise. Miss Lee would sneak into my room when my parents would go to bed, and would leave at dawn in the morning. Once, while I was helping Miss Lee into my room, I saw a moving figure behind a tree. I immediately ran outside. Julia, I can see you. What are you doing here? Julia came out from behind the tree with a smug grin on her face. I knew you both were so close for a reason. What is she doing sneaking into your room? It's not what you think. She is living with me. Yeah. You think I'm stupid enough to believe that? It would be helpful if you were that stupid, but no, I don't think you are. I'm telling you the truth. She is homeless and I'm helping her. Yeah, a loser helping a loser. Julia, I can insult you and you know I can make you cry. But Miss Lee once told me to treat you better because you were going through hard times. Julia stared at my face, looking shocked. She said that? How did she guess? Guess what? It's none of your business. And guess what? I hate you. And I hate Miss Lee. Take this piece of advice from me. Don't come to school tomorrow unless you want to see everyone laughing at you and your friend after they know your secret. Come on! You're better than this! You can't do this! Watch me! Next morning, when Miss Lee and I entered the school, we were so terrified. We saw hundreds of students gathered around Julia. Oh, here she comes! Your homeless, good-for-nothing teacher. I'm so embarrassed to have someone like her teach me. And as usual, Rebecca is the suck-up we are all familiar with, helping the teachers, being their pet. And now she's acting like Mother Teresa. All of the students turned around to see us, and Miss Lee started tearing up. Why are you so awful, Julia? Why are you making everyone's life harder? Who do you think you are? The queen of the school. Then one of the students shouted, You're not anyone's queen. You're only a jerk bully. Yeah, we like Miss Lee. She's the best teacher we've ever had. So what if she doesn't have a home? She's still human, unlike you. Yes, and we also want to join Rebecca and help our teacher. Then he stepped forward and gave Miss Lee the money he had. He was followed by another student, then another, and another one, until all the students had gathered in a circle around us. Miss Lee started crying and hugging the students, while Julia looked furious. She turned to storm off when someone shouted, Where do you think you're going, Julia? Come on, guys, let's teach her a lesson. No one touch her. I want everyone to treat her with the same kindness you've shown me, okay? Then she turned to me and gave me a big bear hug. Thank you, Rebecca. How can I ever pay you back for everything you've done for me? I hugged her back. That's not how friends talk, Miss Lee. And you've made my life so much better, just by being in it.